What's going on? Happy Monday and welcome to the number one group of five college football show in the world. This is the Group of Five Guys, and our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that we know the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. We need you to follow us on all the social platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel, leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most importantly, tell your family and friends all about us. We had a lot happen since the last show. Tonight, we're going to talk about the College World Series a little bit. We're going to talk about the increase in student fees to cover the revenue share. Might even talk about my Florida Panthers. Hope you enjoy the show. This is the Group of Five Guys, and we are coming to you live.
I admire how much focus and energy you're putting on this part of college football.
We looked at each other. We was like, Mike, the best place to be is a Group of Five. So I'm sitting here with the Group of Five guys, right?
Detroit has won. It's been a winner, and it's a special place. So it's why you want the job.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
It was across there. You want to have this thing packed out, have the student section packed out, giving those guys hell on the sideline. I mean, that's part of it. I mean,
win or lose, like we're winning the tailgate.
There's no better place to be developed in this country than Boise State.
Well, Jeff, we had an ejection in the bottom of the first inning yesterday. I can't say I've ever seen it before. Hopefully don't ever see it again. You'd like for sports to go without narratives and conspiracies. But boy, just like in life, Jeff, it gets harder and harder. It gets harder and harder to not be a conspiracy theorist. And, I am full on tinfoil hat.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you watch the entire interaction, it's honestly absolutely absurd that an umpire would make that moment in the first inning. Like, you haven't even had a prior interaction with the coach. And like, the head coach definitely has a lot more leeway than your first base coach or pitching coach. Like, he should be able to have a conversation. And when you go back and look at it, that does not warrant an ejection. I'm sorry. And then you want to talk about the most unathletic.
Oh, unbelievable.
I mean, the umpire just trips over Campos' feet, falls down, and then tries to act like he was shoved or bumped. I mean, that's just, absolutely embarrassing.
He was just embarrassed of himself, and he decided to pile on. It reminds me of the great philosopher, our old offensive line coach, Jimmy Ray Stevens. You know what he would say to people? They'd get beat so bad, and then they would, they'd kind of hold their shoulder, and he would say, "The only thing hurting is your pride." And that's what we saw right there with that umpire. It's a shame because you really had that first game, I mean, you felt, aside from being a Group of Five guy and having a bias, you felt bad for Coastal because you go out there and you deal that well and you just can't get any runs. But then at the same time, look, LSU's dealing too, man. Great pitching, both games really. And, just unfortunate, but Coastal, hey, look, man, they put on a damn good show and just fell short.
Yeah, you got to tip your cap to LSU's pitching staff. I mean, they were dominant. They've been dominant all year, but
yeah,
there's you just know the powers that be did not want Coastal to win.
Dude,
they did.
Well,
not.
dude,
I'm sorry. And the head umpire, Campos, whatever that his name is, he got kicked out of the MLB. You know how bad they are in their union. It's like impossible to fire people up there.
Yep. For the same thing too, for having kind of a short fuse and throwing people out early is the same reason he got himself ejected, no pun intended, from the major leagues. And what gets lost in all of it? Everybody's outraged that he ejected the coach, but I mean the call on that particular pitch that he called a strike was horrific. Almost hit the guy. I mean, so that's where you just kind of, I don't know, you hate it. You really do. And I think it was one of those things where they they made a decision, and then the second ump comes in there and falls down over his own, trips over his own feet. I mean, you want to talk about a toe walker, Jeff.
I mean,
we got a guy that comes in like, Henry Hardass. He's got his chest all up, and he trips and falls over another umpire, by the way. And then, they blame the coach. And then if there would have been a game 3, he was going to be suspended for that.
Yeah, and they threw the first base coach out too. So, I'm sure Coastal's going to appeal this entire situation because as of right now, they're both going to be suspended for game 1 of next season.
They had what was it? Player development and recruiting coach was coaching first base for the rest of the game. And this is not like you said, Jeff, this is not, baseball is one of those sports where it's not like you're calling timeouts and drawing stuff up on the whiteboard or anything like that, but you're managing the game. That's what's called a manager. And I'm not saying it would have made a difference because Coastal still played well and they had a lead, for part of it. But the first inning, man, it wasn't the 7th inning. It wasn't, you know what I mean? This was
the thing I'll say about it is baseball is it's such a game of like continuity and it's very having the same routine at the plate, having the same routine at the mound, like all the things. So if you don't think that your head coach that's always in the dugout, always talking to the guys is gone, that doesn't affect the game, like it absolutely does. And there's just, to me, it's inexcusable to do that in the first inning unless the guy was just so far out of line. But this, it just wasn't. And the SEC, here you go again. Where they have 13 teams in the tournament.
Well, that's where I was going to go next, Jeff, and talk about narrative spinning because it's already, you can't go on Twitter without you seeing it. SEC dominance, LSU dominant again, second title, whatever, LSU. The way I'll spin this narrative is 12 of your 13 teams didn't even make it to Omaha. Or I guess 11 of your 13 didn't even make it to Omaha. So, LSU was dominant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Arkansas was pretty good. They were right up there. But, Coastal gets there too. And it was them and Southern Miss, the only 2 Sun Belt teams in the tournament.
I believe so. And then you had Murray State had a deep run. I mean,
Murray State made a run. UTSA had a shot there.
But
yeah, look, LSU's good to you. One thing I'll say, Jeff, and you're more in tune with this because your kids are older and in the travel ball. I haven't really paid attention to baseball at that level in a while. I just haven't. But when did baseball? It's kind of, I don't know if I like it or not. It's becoming trash talking. They're super cocky, these guys now. I mean, the celebration. I don't mind a home run pimp, as they call it. I love a good bat flip. But I don't know. Some of these pitchers, you get a strikeout in the first inning and you cussing out the entire dugout. Those guys don't get ejected, by the way.
No.
You can do that, but God forbid a coach ask a question.
No, it's getting to be a thing. I know Chipper Jones had a pretty hot take about his alma mater and was like, there's a level of class and respect for the game that I think you need to operate by. And and you're just seeing, more and more of this stuff. But this is what you get when it's just so funny what the umpires will allow and then what they won't allow.
Right.
And what you are allowing is just snowballing and getting worse and worse. And I don't know. I'm okay with some of it, but at the same time, like, dude, act like I'm all good with you being fired up, but when you start coming off as a prick, I had a 10-year-old do it in the tournament this weekend, and I wanted to jump the fence. It's like, dude, you struck out the 10th batter in our lineup, and you're like beating your chest. I'm like, dude, it's great to be excited, but like, don't stare down the opposing dugout. Like, just go to your dugout and celebrate with your teammates. It's I don't know.
But Jeff, they learn it from the college kids and the pros even. But there's a fine line. It's like anything, right? There's a balance. There's a fine line. You want to grow the game, so you want it to be more. You want younger people especially, to have more fun. You want to appeal to different types of people. It's the same with golf, right? But golf, you get some people that are like, "Oh my God, this guy's wearing shorts on the golf course. This is an atrocity." And it's like, well, okay. But then you got another guy that's, crashing the golf cart into the pond on, doing donuts on the green. And it's like, okay, guys, like, let's figure out how to, we can wear shorts, but we also
Well,
don't have to destroy
that's where
property.
people were getting so upset. The typical golf crowd was so upset with the live when live was big
Yeah.
and still popping. I don't even know if they're still doing tournaments anymore. I think they got them merged or something. But yeah, I mean, I went to a live event in Nashville. It was pretty live.
Yeah, I mean,
good time.
well, and see, here's the thing for me. It's funny, not to compare the two, but golf, it's you. You don't have a team. You're not really playing against a team per se. So I actually rather it in golf versus baseball, where you've got teammates that you've got to look out for. You've got another team that you're playing against. So as far as the sportsmanship goes, I say all that, Jeff, to say that my Panthers have been just completely disrespectful in their celebration tour that they've been on. I mean, they've been on a week-long bender in Fort Lauderdale.
I mean, some couth.
I mean, it has been electric. But the Canadian mind, they can't comprehend. They can't comprehend a hockey celebration on Fort Lauderdale Beach in 105-degree weather. They can't. They just can't. They're out there shoveling snow. We got different type of snow down there in South Florida, and I think some of the Panthers may have been enjoying it in the last couple of days here. What do you got there? You look like you're.
No, I'm looking. I was pulling something up for our next segment. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. But anyway, before we get into that next segment, Jeff, I know you saw my hat. Went with the YO hat today.
That's one of my favorites.
The Game Caps. Shout out to them. You can check them out at the Game Caps. They've got some really cool kind of these vintage style and really all kind of different style hats. Just about every college team. Bunch of pro stuff. Make sure you check them out. They sent us this Wyoming one is. I've been waiting to break this one out for sure. It's definitely my favorite that they sent. But shout out to them. Make sure you check them out. And look for your team. Get yourself a hat.
Yep. Thegamecaps.com.
Yeah. And then also, Jeff, I know we've been talking about them for a while. Gridiron Spice Company. I got a chuck roast. We've been doing I've been going to the farmer's market. I think I talked about this last week. Been going down to the farmer's market, and I've just been getting just whatever they got kind of for the day. Last week I got the ribeye just for myself. This time I just got a little 3-pound chuck roast, did a pot roast.
There you go.
Over the weekend, but I just did the triple option seasoning. I smother when I season. I mean, I'm not leaving anything uncovered. But I did that, and then put the potatoes, carrots, and the broth in there. Damn good pot roast, just with one seasoning blend. You didn't have to put anything else in there, Jeff.
Yeah, I cooked all salmon fillet in the oven. Varsity seasoning all over the top.
Varsity.
A little bit of lemon.
Varsity stuff for sure. Look, if you check them out, it's gridironspiceco.com. Our promo code is GOFG for 10% off. If you're in between, obviously you can buy the kit and get all four. But if you're only going to buy one, if you're on a budget or something, the Varsity is big time. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. You literally can put it on anything. And it is wonderful. So check them out, gridironspiceco.com, promo code GOFG. Jeff, all across this outline kind of sparked. There's an account. I want to make sure I get it right. Shout them out, give them a follow. I think it's their Twitter handle is at NIL, not NLI. Is
Correct.
That what it is?
That is correct.
Yeah. So they've definitely got some opinions on this, and they just been tweeting out every time a school, they increase their tuition or increase their student fees, and coincidentally, it coincides with said school announcing that they're opting into the revenue share model. So, Jeff, I want to go to you on this. You're a little more in tune with the NIL and the rev share stuff with what you've got going on in Murfreesboro, but what's your just initial thought on this?
Yeah, so to give a little background story on the account and what he's referencing is the Student Government Association did a press release shortly after MTSU decided to raise basically the student fees for each student. They're claiming that it's 6.49%, which comes out to $97.50 for each student mandatory fees in the upcoming academic year. $64 of that goes to athletics. So not all of that $97 goes, is all going to the athletics. So, but the bulk of it is. Here's my take on it. Okay. And this is anybody that knows, or doesn't know. MTSU is the biggest undergrad in the state last time I checked, and it is the cheapest school to get a 4-year degree at in the state of Tennessee.
Jeff, you're discrediting us with
No,
what you're saying about this degree that you and I have.
This is how they have marketed this degree. So I'm just essentially reading the press what MTSU offers, because you could go all around the state of Tennessee and that's how they offer it. And in my opinion, when you market things that way, that's what people are going to think of you, unfortunately. So I'm all for us raising tuition because we are the cheapest, and we have been behind the times in every aspect of on-campus housing, of athletics for the last 15, 20 years, and they have not made a single investment outside of paint and change the rug in the locker room. But on campus, new student union building, new concrete building, new engineering building coming in, you have all these new buildings being built on campus, which I'm all for. That's why you go to school, to get an education. You want to up, your certain, schools to compete with all the other schools in the state. That's what you got to do. But they have made significant investments on campus and have put athletics on the back burner. So when I read this press release by the SGA, to me, it's uninformed. You're complaining that the students weren't involved in the conversation, that they were not, told ahead of time. Their voice was not at the table. And that's a fair complaint. You can have that. But if you want to look at what the students have gotten the last 20 years on campus compared to what the athletic department has, they have serviced on campus outside of student housing. All the departments have gotten pretty much brand new buildings. The student union building's brand new, about 5, maybe 6 years old. This is what schools like MTSU have to do. They don't have the donor base to fully fund their athletic department with rev share. So what are you going to do? You have to get that money somewhere. You have to charge the students. And in my opinion, again, this is still the most affordable 4-year degree in the state. So I get it. I'm not balking that. I know $100 a year is a lot. It's a lot to people. I understand that. But to me, at the end of the day, what you're going to get out of this, if this is done correctly and managed right, this is going to do more for the university from a marketing standpoint and a revenue generating standpoint than any science department, English department, math department, any of them. So
hold that thought, Jeff, because I definitely want to get to that, because that's kind of been our secondary mission of this whole thing, right, as athletics, using it to better the university. But it's not just MTSU, though. It's every school is raising the student fees. Not every school has the same issues that that Middle has as far as stuff like that. So, now what's interesting about it is okay, you go a couple hours away to Knoxville, and those students are probably like, well, whatever, yeah, awesome, I'll help. And they probably don't need to, because that athletic program's probably doing just fine.
Yeah.
Where then it's the ones that you need the extra help, where the students are going to be upset about it. My question is, how do we bridge that gap, right? How do we make this SGA, this Student Government Association, because this is what, right, these kids are walking around. We've been on this campus. We were on this campus for years. You're there more than I am still to this day, but we get back there when we can. You see these students walking around. I mean, they don't even know what the mascot is. They don't know. They're not wearing blue ever. They don't know when. I mean, we've your wife made a video. Fortunately, that was changed, but they don't know when there's a game. They don't know what time it is. They don't know who we're playing. They don't know the conference. So, in their defense, they don't care that there's they don't care if the football program goes away completely. So why? And I'm playing devil's advocate here, Jeff.
Yeah.
Why does my tuition have to go up by $100 to support something that not only do I not care about, I actually have a negative bias towards these people and this organization.
Yeah, I think that's where leadership at our specific school, and I'm sure it's similar at other schools, does a poor job of incorporating part of the student life should be athletics, because you can go to a game as a student for free. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can go and have a great time. It's part of building a community, right? And I think that is where middle has fallen so short, that you have silo all the way from every department, from teachers to students on down. Nobody crosses over and supports each other. Everyone is just worried about what benefits them directly, when we're all Blue Raiders or whatever school you go to. And if everyone just embraces everyone else, the entire university, the student, you will benefit. I promise you. It's going to add to your student experience. And in the long run, it may be after you graduate, but there's going to be more revenue coming in to that department that helped, got you your degree, helped you with that, going out and finding your job. It's the same reason why we want to support our school, because football brought us there, got us our degree. We met our wives. We have our kids. We have all these things because of it. It's the same thing when you're in that department. And when football does well and athletics does great, then everyone else does great. Everyone else benefits.
In 1852, Jeff, Harvard and Yale played the first ever competitive sport between two universities. I'm going to make sure I try to get this right. So Harvard and Yale began, this is an AI Google thing here, engaging in organized sports primarily due to the establishment of a friendly rivalry and the desire for intercollegiate competition. So Harvard and Yale, right, this is in the 1800s, they're right there. Oh, what's the better education? What's this? And each one wants to be better than the other at everything. So they decide, hey, let's get this friendly little rivalry going. And they do a Harvard and Yale, naturally, they do a crew race as the first intercollegiate sort of competition. And so it's one of those things where it just grew from there, right? And then you get the modernization of sports. You get football, you get basketball, you get all these things, baseball, and then you get all these schools. But sports were originally, they were just so embodied in the university, and they were supposed to, like you mentioned earlier, enhance the student body experience. And the people that were good, imagine this, I said this last week, imagine this, the people that were really good at a sport got to go to school there for free so that they could make that sport better. So their school, but it was all part of, everybody was in it together.
Yeah.
And we've gotten so far away from that. And it's, there's so many layers to it. We talk about it all the time, but we go back to App State when game day shows up at App State, or when game day shows up at James Madison, or when Boise State goes to the Fiesta Bowl, and just the snowball effect that it has. And we talk about this all the time. We talk about football especially, but athletic programs, especially your revenue generating ones, being the front porch of the school. App State goes and beats Texas A&M. ESPN, Disney decides, we want to go showcase this place. Because of their football team, the largest media outlet in the world decided to give them a freaking week-long commercial. And it showed off, it showed off their football program, but it showed off their community. It showed off their campus. It showed off their student body. It showed off everything about Boone, North Carolina. And in turn, it sounds so simple, but somebody's watching game day and is 14, getting ready to go into high school, and they're talking to their guidance counselor, and they're like, I don't know, man, but Boone looked cool as hell on TV. Maybe I'll apply there. And you see the studies. I'm going to talk about it, Jeff. Saturday Millionaires was my second favorite book. Christy Dosh, she talks about it with Boise State, and the applications go up. So then guess what? Now the university can be a little more picky, take the best of the best. Now that degree, the one me and you were just making fun of that we have, becomes worth a little bit more. Then when you're not an athlete, but you're in, you have your resume and you're in an interview setting and you have a degree from a school, it's instead of like, oh, that's the cheapest and largest school and cheapest tuition, everybody graduates, congrats. It's, oh, that's a pretty selective school to even get into. Congratulations. Now your professors, right? That we know how some of these professors are. They've been reading the same PowerPoint for 35 years, making whatever they're making and just putting a PowerPoint, making you take a test online and whatever. But now they're getting funds for research. And so it's all the snowball effect. And then they're doing research. Then you got better professors there. So now the degree's getting even better. Now these alumni are going to be a little more successful. They're going to make a little more money. And guess what they're going to remember? They're going to remember, yeah, man, I was 13 years old and I watched College Game Day, go to Poon, and I thought, yeah, I'll apply there. And in 10 years later, I got my degree that now means a hell of a lot more than it meant when I saw that commercial or that game day show. Now I'm successful. I got a lot of money when I went there. I had a hell of a time going to those football games. I don't know what to do with all this expendable income. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here you go. Instead, a lot of these schools do the opposite, especially in the group of five.
Well, just look at any school, and you can keep it in the group of five, or you can extend it to the entire country. Like when a school has a kick-ass student section, and those students are having a blast. They're just getting after it. It's packed. I mean, it changes not only the environment and the game on the field, but that time that those kids are having, that enhances the student experience. You want to know where your money or how it benefits the students? It only benefits you if you go to the games, but you have to buy in. You have to buy in. You have to go and support athletics. Even there's plenty. You think at Tennessee, 107,000. I don't know how many of that 107 on a sold out game is students, but I bet you it's damn near their vast majority of all the kids that go there. Do you think all those kids that are there for their law degree or their all these degrees that they have, do you think they're all huge football fans? No, absolutely not. But they know when they go and they tailgate all day on campus and have a great time, and then they go to the bars afterwards. When they get done and they graduate and they're working, they're going to be like, man, I had so much fun. That was worth it. That was worth the extra $100 or whatever UT charges. And they were talking about it before when NIL was still a thing. Like they were going to charge a percentage
on the ticket,
and that was going to go directly to it. So it's like, dude, I promise you, it will benefit you if you buy into the entire student experience. But if you just want to go, if you just want to go and go to class and then not do anything on campus, there's a lot of things that you pay for that's not going to enhance your experience. So it's all up to the student, in my opinion, of how involved you want to get. If you want to get your ROI, you got to go. You got to go to the games and have a good time with your buddies.
Two things, Jeff, and that goes into, we always talk about the leadership of the university, right? Is what type of student do you want? Do you want to be, again, there's nothing wrong with this. I was tweeting about this the other day. There's nothing wrong with having X amount of foreign exchange students or X amount of whatever kind of initiative that you want to do, but just understand that in general, that student is not going to care about anything else at the university aside from themselves and going there, getting their degree and leaving. They're not going to spend money on your campus. They're not going to spend money, and they're not even paying tuition for a lot of that. So they're not going to spend money on your campus. They're not going to spend money in your community. They're not going to stay, more than likely. They're not going to open a business. And so it's just, you're just handing degrees essentially to somebody just so you can check a box on a metric. But what I will say, the second thing I was going to say, Jeff, is you talk about everybody tailgating and all that stuff. There's nothing I enjoy more, and I don't get to go to as many middle games as you guys do that still live up there, but when we come up there, and we usually have our one or two like homecoming tailgate, and there's all of us that went to school there, and every single one of us has our wives, all our kids, and there's just generations at this tailgate, And you look at how quick, like Jeff, it seems like it was a year ago, buddy. It was 12, 13 years ago when we were running around on that campus. So we're not too far out now from having our kids potentially on that campus. And in another 10 years after that, here you got 3 generations there, and you've just, 10x'd your fan base and your tailgate and your crowd. But again, it comes down to what type of university do you want, and if you're the student, you have to buy in. You can't, even if you're just a degree seeker, right? Look, it's not, what do they say? It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
The network and those people, those fraternity brothers, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta do stuff like that with them. It'll be the memories you have for a lifetime. Now, on another point I have, Jeff, if we are raising tuition and we are paying extra student fees, and we know this money is going directly to the players, I think you have every right to get on social media and talk your trash if that team is not performing. At that point, you're being paid, and I'm paying it. Literally, I got the right to have something to say. If I go to a business and I pay for a commodity, and I pay for entertainment, if I go pay for a movie ticket and the movie sucks and the popcorn sucks, I got the right to leave a Yelp review or whatever I want to do. So if I pay this money and I go to school and I go to a game and I see a bad product, I got every right to leave a Yelp review about my feelings on the coaching staff or the quarterback play. That's my opinion. We talked about that. I think old Swag Bear brought that up 2-3 years ago when NIL was like just a maybe at that time.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, look, if these guys are getting paid, then they can't be too soft to handle some criticism.
I agree with that. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast that you're getting into now, right? So it's like you said, you go to any restaurant and you get poor quality, poor service, poor product. Absolutely. So, but students got to go to the game. If you want to complain about it, I mean, you at least got to watch it on TV or go to the game. So, but the other point I was going to bring up is a lot of this, in my opinion, falls on leadership. It starts with the president on down to the faculty, to the teachers, to the athletic director, like all of it on down. You have to have one message and one unity of we are all in this together. We all should support one another. Like, I can speak on my wife, who's a professor at MTSU. Anytime there's basketball, baseball, football, and she's in session, she's like, hey, we got this going on. Just want to let you know, if you like football or baseball, or even if you don't, it's a fun time, go to the game. Every professor, in my opinion, should be doing that. And that should be a message from the president. But, you've always kind of had this, divide between faculty and athletics. Mm-hmm. It's like, guys, we got to break down the silos, man. Like, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to go in there and make that point. And in my opinion, it should be the president. It should be the president of the university that goes in and has that message to all the faculty. And then on the flip side, athletes, you got to be in class and be a Model A student.
Mm.
If you happen to be in or know a kid that's in the drama department or something, go see a show. As long as you don't have practice or something, like, why not go support the programs that you're in, the extracurriculars that they got to do. So, like, there's a responsibility of the athletes as well.
Jeff, do you remember this was the first year that we started going to games, and we went to Charlotte for the first time? They were playing middle. Friday night game, we went to Boone. Thursday.
COVID year too.
It was 21.
21, yeah.
Yeah, because it was the year after, but
That's right.
tailgate was still closed. I think it was 21. Yeah, should have been 21. Because I don't think we went to any games in 20.
No.
2020, whatever it was. We went to Boone on Thursday night. We saw App State Marshall. Friday night, we went to Charlotte, see them play middle. And we had very limited expectations for Charlotte. We just didn't know a whole lot about it. It was our first year really getting out and about. And their student section was absolutely nuts. Electric. Like, one of the best to this day that we've seen as far as just their energy, They fill in, and it was one of those things where you're out there on the field for pregame, and you're like, man, there ain't nobody here. And then all of a sudden, they just start filing in, and then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, this student section is packed. There's standing room only back here. They're getting into it with the players on the bench.
Talking trash.
They're taunting us. Then we had to go smooth it over. You get invited over to the fraternity row. I mean, did not attend, but it's and then afterwards, right? Shout out to Will Healy. We talked to him. We went up to his office after the game, and then we had him on the show, and we were like, I mean, why? Like, no offense, y'all ain't winning. You're a new program. You don't have you don't have tradition. You don't really have much of anything here going for you. You're in a major market in Charlotte. You got professional sports here. You got however many, Power 5 schools in your same state. You got all these things that these students could be doing in Charlotte, but they're coming to the football game. And one of the things that he said, maybe this surely isn't the only reason, but it's got to be a big credit. He said, every one of my players, when they walk into class, they shake the hand of the teacher. They shake the hand of their classmates. Like we just talked about, they attend other extracurriculars. They get to know these people. These students, it's not, oh, there's the football players, like, stay away. It's like, yeah, that's my buddy. I go to class with that wide receiver. Whatever. I'm in history class with the QB, and they feel like it. Honestly, I'm not to say this as disrespect. It reminds you of high school.
Yeah.
Sort of, where it's like, oh, you just want to go support your friend. And I think there's a lot to that, and that can be done very easily by just going to class and being respectful and being most of these kids, like, you're an athlete, man. Like, you're comfortable around people for the most part, right? You're social. Like, go introduce yourself to people. One football player goes into a class where there's 30 people. You can get 15 of those people to come to the game and watch you. Absolutely, you can. And if your roster full of 105 is able to do that, I'm not good at math. That's 2,000 or 3,000 people, right?
That's what you need.
I mean, it ain't hard.
No, you just gotta think outside of the box. And honestly, like, life is all about relationship building anyways. If you can build some relationships with some of your classmates, they're going to go on to graduate just like you are, hopefully. Some of these people are going to be like the top brass or starting their own companies. Like, you never know. You could potentially get a job in that same degree that you just graduated with a classmate because you just decided to sit next to him or her and have a conversation and be nice and be cordial. Like, that's what life's about. It's about relationships. So do that while you're a student athlete. Hopefully you can get, like you said, Sprouse. I mean, you have 105 in there. They're all in, for the most part, in different classes. Some of these classes, you got 60, 70 students in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Participate in your little group projects, your little group assignments. Participate in the group me. I mean, I don't know, Jeff. Look, and one more thing on this is this podcast and our socials, like, certainly not getting rich by it. I mean, if anybody would like to make us rich, more than open to sell my soul live on the air if I need to. But every piece of success or access that we've been able to get, 100% due to a relationship. 100% due to a relationship with somebody. I'll speak for myself. I was not a good football player by any means. But when I was there, just respectful to people, you know what I mean? Like, everybody likes you, you know what I'm saying? And now here it is, however many years later, and you can text these people. If you need a favor, you could. And we don't typically ask for favors, but we probably could. Anyway, you ever watch the Savannah Bananas, Jeff?
I have been recently, just because I'm so intrigued by the business.
By how the hell they get 80,000 people to watch that crap?
The kids, man. The kids love it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my point. I've said this. I don't know if I've said it on this show. I know I've said it in talking. Schools like middle, group of 5 schools that don't necessarily have all this tradition. They don't have centuries and generations worth of fans. You got to look at your off-field stuff like your minor league baseball. Minor league baseball in general does a phenomenal job of doing special events. Bring your dog night, do this night, whatever night. And they're able to get very few people could give a crap about AA or AAA baseball and who's winning and who's on that team, unless you get somebody that's, on a rehab stint and it's you got a big star in town. Nobody really cares about that. But they get people to come out to those damn games by doing all their little gimmicks. Savannah Bananas are a perfect example. Those guys are selling out NFL stadiums every single weekend, and nobody is there to watch them play baseball. Not one single soul is there to watch them play baseball. Now, I'm not asking the offensive coordinator to run a trick play every play. I am asking you to play an exciting brand of football, but I'm asking your music selection. I'm asking your sound system. I'm asking your PA announcer. I'm asking your little entertainment person that does all the little shirt tosses and all that stuff. I'm asking you to watch the Savannah Bananas and study what the hell they do. And don't copy them, but come up with something that's creative, that's going to be a tradition in the future for your program.
I've listened. I can't think of the guy's name, the owner. I should know it because I've watched enough of his videos. It's all about the fans, man. They cater to the fans. How can they make the fan experience like top notch, better than any other event that they go to? And that's their sole mission. Like they play baseball and they do some different things, but it's like they think outside the box and they try stuff. And that's what gets me is you have all these universities and game day atmospheres and they do like the same thing. That's not working over and over and over and over again. You got to get creative. Try something different. And if it hits, great. And if it doesn't, you're not doing any worse than you were doing before. So it's like, come up with things, try them. As long as everybody's on the same page and everybody's in agreement that we like this idea, we're going to go with it. Go with it. And then works great. Build on it. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board and do it again. But I just feel like people are scared to make a mistake or scared to think outside of the box. It's like what you're doing already isn't working. So, like, I don't know, do something different.
It's Jeff. They're micromanaged into not doing anything. That's what happens. Nobody has the freedom to make a decision or implement a strategy. So they sit there and do absolutely nothing and watch your fan base dwindle year after year after year.
Poor leadership.
Obviously, I'm talking specifics here, but again, yeah, you don't go copy the Savannah Bananas, but try something, do something stupid, do something weird. You know what I'm saying? You got every school in the country's got a marketing program. They got all these. Hire some interns.
That's what I'm saying.
And freaking brainstorm. Do a case study. Do a focus group. Ask people. Ask questions. You know that Savannah Bananas guy. That guy stands out there in his stupid yellow suit and signs autographs for every single fan in line. He will not quit doing it, and he takes their input. I mean, I don't think some of these universities would even be caught dead speaking to some regular student about their fan experience. Now, they'll go talk to the guy that wants to give money, and that guy is going to tell you to turn the music down and turn the AC up in the press box and all this stuff, and he's not going to make a sound at the game anyway. But I guarantee you they're not asking the students.
No. But unfortunately, that's like that's the atmosphere in the world of academia. I hate to say it, but that's just what it is. And that's why you got to have somebody in there that's forward thinking, that's not afraid to fail, leading not only your university, but your athletic department, every department on down. Like you got to find those type of people, those type of people that want to push the envelope a little bit and think outside of the box. And you just got to go for it. But anyways,
isn't Will Healy back in the group of 5?
Georgia State.
It is, right?
Pretty sure. We need to get down to Atlanta.
That's easy.
Link up with the old swag bear. Maybe bring him on a mission. I'm almost certain.
Is that where he is?
Pretty sure. Pete's Dragon. Can you not look it up?
Or no, he's back at.
No, he's at Gardner Webb.
East Tennessee State.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was at Georgia State,
yeah. And he was at UCF for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jeff, I know we got a couple of voicemails. You guys, look, if you've got a hot take, if you got something on this, if you are a student and you got a different opinion or the same opinion, give us a call, 615-900-4286. Leave a voicemail. We will play it on the air. Almost 100% of the time, so long as Jeff has the capability to bleep any cuss words or, well, most cuss words.
I'm going to be honest. Lately, I ain't
You
been
don't even
bleeping.
care.
I've been bleeping. I'm just letting
You
the
don't even care,
explicits
brother.
fly.
It's 9:49 Eastern time.
That's
Dude.
right.
Just let it ride at this point.
It's been pretty clean lately. Wait till we get to
Dude,
the
it doesn't-
season, though.
Doesn't matter, Jeff. You don't even have to. All you got to do is say you missed 3 strikes already, and you'll get thrown out of the game. You don't even have to cuss anymore. So,
Nah,
and
really.
I'm sure we've already said something
Truthfully, it's
offensive.
because Zachary Branner stopped calling in.
That's because he's playing. You know, he's playing ball, dude. Tulsa, the arena team.
Shout out to Zachary Branner, dude. Get it done.
I thought he was our age. If he is our age, I mean, my God, more power to you, dude. I mean, I'd like to think I'm in halfway decent shape, but I'm not gonna lie, my knees were.
I ain't in playing
They
shape.
They pop on every step I take up and down my stairs.
No.
Anyway,
right.
Jeff, let's get to the voicemails.
Group of 5 guys, Josh Bevel here. First thing, kind of want to settle this Josh debate here, from the most previous episode. My middle name is kind of confusing too. It's the GOAT. So, I mean, you can just call me the GOAT, but, I mean, we'll leave it at that. Greatest of all time. But it is what it is. I mean, beside the point. Anyway, so talk a little Sun Belt. Texas State on the way out. Okay. Kind of hate to lose them, but they were pretty decent this past season. They had our number, with TJ Finley at quarterback a couple years ago, beat the absolute tar out of Georgia Southern. But, they always get a lot of hype and just criminally underperform every single year. So it is what it is. But kind of seems like we're getting La Tech in the Sun Belt. I mean, selfishly, I'd like WKU and Middle to come to the Sun Belt, keep that rivalry still intact, and then you get, Helton Brothers, potential matchup in the Sun Belt. That'd be pretty cool. But I don't know. I really don't care. It doesn't affect me. But, Sprouse, you said JMU might be the only team that can rattle off 10, 11 wins. You know what? They might, but they will still not get a conference championship victory. Now, I'm not saying Georgia Southern's going to go as far as making the college football playoff. Of course, I hope so, but not going to say that. But the Eagles go up to James Madison this year. They haven't won there in a very long time, but just wait on it, Sprouse. I'm telling you, when JMU's conference championship season is on the line, when they face Georgia Southern, Southern's got a good track record. Just saying that. But anyway, last thing I got, just quick question. Out of all the Group of 5 stadiums that you haven't been to, what's on your bucket list? What's the number one or couple, doesn't matter. What's on your bucket list of Group of 5 stadiums that you haven't been to? But that's all I got. God bless the Group of 5 guys. Hail Southern.
That's a good question.
Three things, Jeff. One, James Madison does play Georgia Southern the week after that big Liberty game. The thing with Georgia Southern, I just worry about their front end of their schedule. Then they got to go out to California twice in the first 2 weeks, right? Or the first 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, they're USC and Fresno.
Brutal. Bucket list. Oof. I mean, James Madison's one. I've
been there.
You have been there, huh?
That's an awesome place. I hadn't been to the town though, so we got to get back there. I was going to say War Memorial Stadium is on my bucket list.
There's a few in the Mountain West that
Boise, obviously.
Boise more so for the just because their program is very good. I think it's more so to see Boise State football at home versus than to see the stadium and stuff. I do want to see it. Wyoming,
Fresno State's on mine. I've been to San Jose State growing up just because that's a lot closer. It's like 45 minutes from my house. But Fresno, the Valley, place is always cracking. Got to get out there. I'm trying to think of some other ones.
We've been to quite a few. Like when you look back on it, it feels like like sometimes I sit there, I'm like, God, we always go to these places, but really, I mean, we've been almost everywhere on the in the southeast at this point.
Yeah.
You got to get up to some more Maction.
Yeah.
Maction and Mountain West are the ones that are tough to get to. I mean, we've been to Miami and Toledo up there. We hadn't been to a game, but I've been up there to NIU and got to see the place.
Yeah. Central Michigan would be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Josh.
Yeah, man.
Let's get to our next two callers are two-parters. So bear with.
Hey, group of five guys. Tom here, calling from the absolute hellscape that is I-77 in Charlotte. Your resident Charlotte fan here. Love listening to your pods during the off season. We are in the dog days of summer, but we're getting there. A little over 2 months, and we're on the way to football season. Just wanted to give a quick Charlotte update. We have sold out of Young Alumni season tickets, I believe, for the first time ever. I am very proud of this fan base. We have got pretty much nothing to cheer about other than beating ECU twice in our program's history. So the fact that we are continuing to grow is really a testament to the fan base and the growth of the school. We're also about to sell out of season tickets for the first time since our inaugural season in 2013. So that's before even I was a fan, which is great to hear. Slowly chugging along on those app tickets at the bank. Obviously, look, it's tough. We're competing against one of, I hate to say it, for the app Tar Heel fans, they're Tar Heel basketball fans. One of the better fan bases in the group of five, maybe the best. And they moved the game to Friday to help accommodate them, which, no comment on that. But we're chugging along with those ticket sales. I can't complain. We're slowly getting there. We're about to sell out of that allocation, and the students, I'm sure they'll show up. They've been great for us the past couple of years. Anything else for us? Yep, stadium expansion is beginning in just a few months. Looking forward to that press box. That's going to generate some revenue for us. We currently have basically zero luxury options. So adding that as well as a cafeteria in there, a bunch of other cool stuff is just really going to change the dynamic of our little old stadium. And eventually other fan bases won't be able to roast us for it. But yeah, just proud of this fan base. They're showing up. We've got South Carolina an hour away, Clemson, UNC, App, ECU, State, and we're still growing at a great rate. Saw the realignment news. Looks like Louisiana Tech to the Sun Belt and Texas State to the Pac, I guess. I have a crazy idea for you guys. What if we, divided conferences by regions that we're in, and so we have regional rivalries. We cut down on travel costs, and, we kind of split it. Like maybe if they made a Pacific Conference, like the Pac-12 or something, I'm not sure.
Wild.
But yeah, I think the group of five needs to just fully regionalize. I know we have a way better TV deal than the Sun Belt, but I still would be fine completely merging those teams since we're all based. Group of five guys, Tom here. I was so close to getting right at that deadline for time limit.
Almost had it.
Yeah, just finishing up. Let's just regionalize, man. Let's stop this chaos. I want to play App, ECU, even a team like Old Dominion. Those local teams. I want to play them every year. I think that'd be fantastic having the conference. I think that'd be great for all parties. Everyone in the group of five would benefit. Let's all come together, do a little kumbaya, and let's settle regional conferences in the group of five. And then we can really, kind of show that to the power conferences. We can kind of appeal to another audience that just love traditional college football like we all love our schools. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. We're almost there. 8 or 9 weeks left until football season. Go Niners. God bless. Long live group of five guys.
Tom, what a great call.
What a great call given what we talked about 20 minutes ago.
I know.
Jeff, I bet you a lot of money that Tom had a great time when he was a student at the games, and now he's a young alumni. And imagine that the young alumni tickets have sold out. Imagine that. Because why, Jeff? Because they had a great freaking time when they were students. Unbelievable.
It's a crazy concept. And I love the idea of when all this happens, this crazy shift, paradigm shift, split, whatever you want to call it. I love the idea of regionalizing and almost reshaping the conferences to regionality. I think that's what you can do. And you can package the entire group of 5 into its own media deal for somebody. Like you want to really shop it around. You have a bigger spread of games, and you can get a couple different CBS or Fox or whoever to be able to all right, well, I want these games and these games and these games and in this conference. I just think that there's strength in numbers. And when everybody gets on the same page and you shop it as this big conglomerate, I just think you're going to have a far better media deal in the long run for everybody involved. And like he said, you're going to save on travel. You're going to have the old school regional rivalries, which I think is going to help with attendance because let's think about it. If you're Charlotte, that's an easier drive to get up to get over to ECU or up to ODU or
plus it's a bigger game. I mean,
that's what I'm saying,
you want those games. You know what I mean? It's
a great point.
I don't know, dude. And then you want to see those. Yeah, I'm excited this year, right? You're getting App State, Boise, you're getting games like that. But back in the day, a couple years ago, if you got App State, Boise, that was in a bowl game, and that was like, oh, what an awesome bowl! You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You played your regional teams, and then imagine, I don't know, call me real crazy. What if you did a playoff where the winners of each of those regional leagues got put into a tournament and played each other, and then the winner of each one could then play in a championship game.
It's crazy.
And they could call themselves a national champion. Wouldn't that be something?
It's a weird concept. Great call, Tom. Appreciate it.
Great call.
All right, let's get to our last one.
Group of 5 guys. This is Iverson Reed. Haven't called in a minute. First time calling as a alum of Coastal Carolina University, so G5 alum, always standing with G5 forever. Sucks that we didn't get to force game 3 and go to have a chance to win the title, but still proud of being the representative of just G5 and mid-majors in general. But the main thing I'm really kind of just pissed out is just the blatant disrespect that ESPN, ABC showed Coastal throughout the whole weekend was just absurd. Like, they were showing LSU's family pets more than they showed Coastal players as family members, which was the craziest thing to me. Like, it was blatant. Like, they weren't even trying to hide it. And my main takeaway from this series was just, this is what the networks think of mid-majors. This is how they look at us. And it just makes me think that the group of 5 in general, yeah, ESPN gives them the most visual attention, but I think they need to at least look elsewhere where they can know that they'll be treated as an equal. And I don't know if that's, looking towards Fox or looking towards CBS, but I think now is a good time to start looking at that, because ESPN, they obviously, like, unless it's a SEC on that jersey, they don't care, man. They don't. But thank you for everything you guys do, representing the G5 and everything. Can't wait to hear the previews going into the 2025 season. Shots up, and God bless Group of 5 guys. Group of five guys. This is Iverson again. I just realized, like, honestly, this needs a part two. But adding on to the point about just how Coastal was just treated by the media and the NCAA, there was a tweet that I came across where another Coastal fan pointed out that when we hit our lone home run early on in the game, there was no music playing for Coastal, what we usually play whenever we get a home run. But then after that inning, they play going to Baton Rouge, and then LSU has that whole surge going, and it goes back to just how the NCAA is just treating mid-majors. Like, they are doing mid-majors so grimy. It's ridiculous. And last thing, we'll leave it at this, but honestly, I'm not as upset at losing the Natty than I am knowing that Chris R. Kelly P. Diddy Phillips is going to be happy about the fact that we got swept by an SEC team. We proved him wrong in our path to the title game, but getting swept here and knowing that he's happy about it is just what makes me sick the most. Cannot stand that guy. Like, do you know how hated you have to be for Coastal fans, South Carolina fans, and Clemson fans to all unanimously hate you? Like, that guy is a shill. That guy is a complete ass. But that was part two of my call. Once again, thank you guys for all you do covering the G5. God bless G5, and shut up.
Appreciate it, Iverson. It's literally why we started the entire account, the podcast, traveling, interviewing coaches, going behind the scenes and taking pictures and videos of locker rooms and meeting rooms and all the things, because ESPN and CBS and Fox won't do it. And they deserve the coverage just as everyone else, because there's great players, there's great atmospheres, there's great traditions. And yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty embarrassing coverage, honestly.
You know what I think it is? A big part of it is, I think they have this expectation that, right, like the whole weekend was basically like a party for LSU. It was almost like yeah, LSU won, like they deserve it. No problem. Best team in the country. No problem. But it was like they weren't even willing to give Coastal a shot. And so the whole weekend is like a coronation of, well, when LSU wins. So they're spending the whole time while the games are being played celebrating LSU. And I don't even think they do any preparation, some, but they don't even do preparation on Coastal, because they're just like assuming they're going to get just beat badly or swept.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was a whole weekend long, just freaking, what do the kids say? Glaze. They're glazing LSU the whole time. But man, it is, and it's man, it is frustrating. Yeah, that guy's got one of the worst. That Chris Phillips, I think is his name. See, I don't follow. I really don't follow like any of the SEC things. But I guess when the algorithm or somebody that I do follow replies, or they tag us in something.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about it, man, is Coastal's got a national championship less than a decade ago in baseball.
I think.
So yeah. So like, this is not some, I know we're here, group of five guys, mid-major this, mid-major that, but like, this is Gonzaga. You know what I mean? Like, this is a team that expects to be there. Coastal, ECU, those guys, these are baseball powers. And it's frustrating because we're going to act like, oh, this miracle Cinderella run for Coastal. And then, whenever preseason stuff comes back around, we'll keep everybody, all the SEC people will still be right up there. We'll make Coastal climb all the way back up and into the rankings and all of that. And it's super frustrating. You're right, Jeff. That is why we exist, my friend.
So share the pod, share the content, tell your family, tell your friends. We got to get this thing. We got to get up to 20,000 followers on Twitter. We got to get the subs up on YouTube. So if you're listening or watching this show, go to the YouTube page, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way, when we go live, we'll come up on your feed. It'll notify you in the little top bar there. We got to get this thing rolling. Football's what, 2 months away?
I think August 23rd, I believe, is week 0. It's 2 months from right now, Jeff.
We got some
diet. You better get on that diet, my friend.
I know.
I got to do something. I look worse and worse. That's how I'm able to tell. Like, I look at a picture of us at one of the games. I'm like, oh, that had to be 2021 because I look pretty good there. I'm just like, it's got to be 3 kids later. You know what I mean?
It makes it wear zone. I'm getting all this gray in my beard. I can't see it on the camera, but I'm getting a lot of grays. Take us home, Sprouse.
Yeah. Hey, well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcasts. Follow on all the social media platforms at Group of 5 Guys. And like Jeff Murphy said, make sure you tell your family and friends all about us. Have a great rest of your week.